In this video, I'm going to break down the scorpion squat, which is one of my favorite ways to train the lower body. It's going to hit all the same muscles that are involved in a squat, but it's going to be doing so in a way that's very reminiscent of the gait cycle. So as I perform the exercise, you want to be thinking and hopefully seeing, obviously, the similarities between what I'm doing and a sprinter bursting out of the blocks. Now, because we're basing it around the gait cycle and some of the movement principles that go along with that, we're going to address a lot of the common issues that are caused by heavy bilateral back squats. So where squatting with a barbell is potentially going to limit your hip internal rotation and compress your lower back, this is going to give you an opportunity to improve and actually restore some hip internal rotation and decompress the spine at the same time. It's also going to address some of the crucial issues with regards to shin angle and foot strengthening and coiling core in terms of balance, and a lot of these features that are going to be really, really essential for athleticism while still training the musculature extremely hard. For the initial setup, I recommend that you use a block so that we can limit some of the depth, because this is a very, very challenging exercise to go all the way to the floor. I put it a little bit less than a meter away from the wall. You're going to work it out yourself in terms of what's most comfortable and accessible for you. And what I'm going to do is lean in to the wall, and I want to be roughly about 45 degrees on my ankle. I'm going to have my weight all on one foot into the ball of the foot, so the heel's going to be lifted, and I want my head nice and close to the window. The down and up portion of this movement is going to take care of itself. So what I want you thinking about is moving backwards and forwards. In simple terms, what I often say to clients is that your quads and your lower back want you to go up, but your glutes want you to go forward. So if we really get the backwards forwards motion of this exercise down, we're probably going to feel some glutes involved with this quite a bit. So there's my setup. I'm going to start with both hands on the wall to begin with, and then I'm going to sit back, keeping the heel off the ground all the way through, and I'm going to touch my knee to the block and then drive back up. I quite like to have this free leg, the swing leg, driving up through towards the wall. Obviously be mindful of not slamming your kneecap into a hard surface, but down and up so that we get that corresponding pelvic motion of pushing on one side and pulling with the other. So that's the first part of the setup. Now, if that's a struggle, you can actually keep the back foot down if you want, and you can keep some weight just as much as you need, and you can lift the leg off the moment you feel you can take the pressure all onto one leg. So as I come down, take some weight, and then I drive back up. If that starts becoming easy, keep the foot off the floor the entire time, just touch the knee to the block, and then eventually taking the blocks away and squatting down to the floor, and then back up like that. Now, keeping that forward trajectory is really, really important, and one thing that I look for from the side is a consistent shin angle. So if you're struggling with that, I quite like to use a constraint, like a foam roller, where I can place that between my knee and the wall, lock myself into position, and then I can perform the movement without having to worry about where my shin is and what my knees and what my joints are all doing in response to the change in position. That's going to really, really help keep that shin angle constant. That's going to help us maintain constant pressure on the quads, and probably going to make sure that our hips are moving in a way that's going to also load the glutes. From behind, you're going to be able to see the spinal motion that I want included with this exercise eventually, right? So we're going to start with both hands on the wall. Once you've got comfortable with the balance and the trajectory and everything like that, we're going to take one hand off the wall. That's going to create a bit of freedom of what our rib cage can do. And this is where we're going to have a side bend over that leaning leg. And actually, once we can establish that, you'll find that the balance and the pressure and the strength all improve. So staying on the same leg, I'm going to actually shift my hands across to the right because I'm working the right hand side. So I tend to put my left hand right in front of my right foot. So I'm already creating that twist, that type of rotation that I should see during a sprint. I'm going to come down and I'm going to basically side bend into the right hand side. Think about putting my right elbow into my right pocket, and then drive up to catch myself on the window. So back and up like that. If I really, really want to make the most of this opportunity to coil my core, as I drive the swing leg through, I'm going to lean all the way over to the other side and bring my head over the free leg like this, so that I'm coiling into that side and expanding on this side and creating more length through the extension. Again, a few more reps. This is an example of an exercise where we can produce a lot of force and still have the opportunity to come off those straight lines that are just compressive and limit our athletic potential that we're so accustomed to in traditional gym training.